I think English is beneficial in a few different ways. For one, it's the only class that requires reading of literature, even though literature reflects the history, beliefs, social norms, and technology of its respective times. So not only are you increasing your vocabulary and filling your mind with, countless fictional universes, but you're indirectly learning the context and society of those texts. So in addition to all that reading, you've got grammar and spelling lessons, and you've got a class that teaches you the basis of a language, of the human language. A lot of languages are similar, so if you've got a good handle on one language, you've got a really solid starting point on others. And I think most importantly, the study of English and English classes in general, they foster critical thinking more so than any other class. And so what I mean by that is in math and science, you've got bona fide facts and figures and strategies to solve your problems. But in English, oftentimes there are multiple ways to say something or pronounce something. There are accents in every language. There are multiple arguments for how to execute a piece of writing. And all of them might be right, and all of them might have validity in their own way. And that's a really confusing place to be sometimes. So you really have to hone your own articulation of English, your own style, your own writing personality, and you have to stay true to that consistently. And that requires critically thinking, what am I putting into my work? How am I staying consistent to who I want to be when I'm writing and I'm reading? So personally, all of these facets of English that I just described have benefited me greatly in my personal and professional lives. I'm an engineer, so you wouldn't think that I use English at all in my day-to-day life, but English drives a lot of what I do. It drives communication with my fellow employees. It drives my ability to articulate what I want to see in a project if I'm hiring contractors, if I'm communicating with fellow employees, with my boss. It helps me maintain an understanding of what I want, and also an understanding that people I might be communicating with communicate in different ways. And you have to be aware that someone's style might be different than yours or inconsistent from you. So in the long run, everyone uses English, whether it's to write or to...
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I currently live and work in Cincinnati, Ohio. I work for the Nielsen Company. Nielsen is the world's largest provider of consumer research data for manufacturers and retail clients. So in my day-to-day job, I work with marketing and brand teams on understanding who's purchasing their products, why they might be buying, what consumer attitudes are about advertisements, brands, and all kinds of things that you would buy in any given store in the US today. So things that I have to do in my job are analyze a lot of data, and while it can seem kind of like it might seem boring, it's actually super interesting because my job is to be the storyteller and take all of these different data sets and put together a clear and simple message for my client to interpret, so they can decide what ads they're going to put on TV, what brands they're going to sell to consumers. It's also really interesting because I think in your English classes you learn a lot about how different characters or settings or themes are connected to like a larger message, and that's something that I think is really, really applicable to the current world we live in today. Constantly look, and I think that's something that's so important in English, because you are just given this text and you have to say, okay, what does it all mean in the grand scheme of things? If it's not just words and it's not just a story, what does that mean in addition to those just very tactical things? Another element of my English classes that was very helpful was developing my communication skills. I have to talk with clients every single day. I often have to give presentations to very important people who make a lot more money than me, and it can be high pressure and intimidating. But I feel well prepared because I had that kind of practice in high school, whether it was in giving a speech or having to explain a concept or have those discussions with people. I feel that my English skills really helped me do that. Also, just learning how to write an email and being composed and using correct grammar and a correct sentence structure, you'd be surprised by how far that could take you. It can seem really unimportant when you are in school, but really in the professional world, that's one of the most valuable assets you can have. So I hope that this was helpful and that you learned a little bit about how my English skills help me in my everyday job. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle Arnold, and I am a veterinarian, and I use the English language on a daily basis in my profession, mostly for medical records and making sure that they are complete and accurate. Using spell check is very important when you're using scientific medical terms. It's also important to be able to read scientific journals, to be able to write scientific journals and research and all sorts of things like that, to be able to communicate with other veterinarians appropriately and be able to communicate with clients. So that is how I use English language.
Hello, my name is Cameron Richardson, and I am the Youth Program Director of Common Good, which is an after-school program on the north side of Lexington. Every day I use English skills, whether that's written or oral. With the written part of my job, I use a lot of emails. I write recommendation letters for students and other organizations. I write grants. I write lesson plans, and there's just a lot of English that I have to use in that. I have to use a lot of grammar and punctuation, proper structure of my lesson plans and essays and recommendation letters and the grants that I use. English, I do a lot of public speaking and a lot of teaching, and you just have to be able to, some of the oral comes from the written. So if you write and structure your English the right way, you can also use that for your oral statements. And so having good English and having good English skills is probably one of the most important subjects in school. It's something you have to use every day in life. It's something that you should really focus on. And so I encourage you to read, encourage you to write a lot, and just get creative in what you're doing, because it's going to really help you out in life, whether that's job interviews, other jobs that you want, whether that's speaking in front of people. So yeah, English is very important, and it's something that you will use in your everyday life.
Hi everyone, my name is Madison and I work for Target in their Human Resource Department. With my job, I do a lot of documentation. So I host a lot of interviews as well as conducting orientations. And with that, I have to document correctly. That goes along with proper grammar. Without proper grammar and documenting everything correctly, I wouldn't be doing my job effectively. I have to send all that documentation to corporate, and if it's not filled out correctly, it gets sent back and I have to do it again. Also, with proper grammar, I interact with new people every single day. I meet someone new every single day, and without proper grammar, I'm also not communicating effectively.
I'm Cody, and I'm a truck driver. Using English skills in my day-to-day work life is really a crucial part of my job. I go around the country to places I don't know, somewhere I've never been. I have no idea where I'm at in the world. I have to be able to use my maps, road signs, and just do research about where I have to go load or unload so I can safely and legally get in and out of an area. Like, we've all seen twisted truckers and trucks hitting bridges, hitting telephone poles. That happens quite a bit. And a lot of that could be prevented with, better English skills and, just thinking ahead a little more. Because a lot of people just try to blindly follow a GPS. Yes, you can probably get away with that for a while. But it's better to read through your atlas, know the bridge laws in the area where you're going, and most importantly, read the road signs, because the road signs aren't going to lie to you. If the GPS says turn in 500 feet, there's a very good chance that could be wrong. As far as my paperwork goes, everything I have in my truck, I get paperwork saying this is exactly what I have, this is exactly where it's going. So you need to be able to sort through that paperwork and know that you got the correct product for the correct customer, because mistakes do happen. What I do is a little different than most truck drivers. I actually own my semi. So I keep track of all of my tax receipts, of what I can deduct, what I can't deduct. And I'd say the biggest part of my job is math and English, because there's my cost per miles per hour, and I can take a load and I will know exactly how long it will take me to get from point A to point B with a little bit extra considering weather and everything like that, and if I do make a wrong turn. So that's just a little bit about my life, and I hope you all can take away a little bit my perspective and have a
Oh, hey there! How's it going, English class? I was just doing some of my evening exercises. My name is Emily. I'm a physical therapist. I use the skills that I learn in communications and English all the time in my job. I spend about 45 minutes to an hour and a half with patients a day, juggling a little bit, but and I'm talking to them the whole time, trying to explain to them what's going on, what I'm doing, what's happening in their bodies. And the trick of that is understanding how they speak, understanding appropriate ways to speak, how to explain what's happening to them in a way that's going to make sense. So I have to dig deep for the appropriate grammar, vocabulary, and all that sometimes, and ways to be creative and make things fun. But then I also communicate in my note what's happening, my assessment of the situation, how they did for the day, what they said when I was with them, what they need for as far as future visits from insurance companies or referring back to doctors. I write notes to doctors all the time, trying to explain what's going on and where the patient is in the process so that the doctor knows what to do at the next step. We also have to write letters sometimes for medical equipment, like a walker or wheelchair or different things. Some places, yeah, they actually hire people to do that for you because it's so involved. Other places, you're more on your own. The insurance companies, they look for specific language, and you have to really work your sentences well to really communicate need through the way you're writing your sentences, or they're going to reject anything you ask for anyway, even just more treatments for therapy. So learn your stuff. It's important to communicate in general, to gain respect from your peers, from your coworkers, from your patients, and from all those around you in the future if you happen to go into a wonderful career path as mine. And don't be upset by my shirt just because we're in the Bluegrass State. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan. I'm a Duke physical therapy fan. Thank you. Hope you all enjoy your class and you're a really cool teacher.
Hello, we're 321 Improv Comedy. I'm Carl. I'm Mike. I'm Jeremy. And we talk. We talk a lot. A lot. We do comedy, we laugh, we chat with people. So, reading, writing, and arithmetic. How do you use it? Not arithmetic at all. No. We don't talk about this like this. Yes. I mean, I like math, but we don't really use it. No. Well, what we do at the table. Sometimes we phrase things in the correct order, like Mike and I. Other times not. Other times we say Mike and I. Yeah, because those really are good English. Well, we speak really well English. Very good. Gooder than most. Good clearer than most. Clearly we're not good at any of this. But we're still 321 Improv. Have a great day.